Power to the people. We back to do maintenance. You are tuned in to the latest episode of the Keep It Clean podcast. This is episode number 12. If you are on here with the YouTube, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. If you are joining us on Spotify or Apple, be sure to add us to your libraries. I'm one of the hosts, Nico. I'm here with my brothers today. We got my boy Ray in the building. What's going on, man? Your mic is muted, brother.
Another weekend of being blessed and highly favored, man. Happy to be here. Shout out to Jim Brown. We still tapping in with the people on a regular basis, you know what I'm saying? Another supporter of the black people and another one that they trying to erase.
Let's get it. Let's get it. We got my brother Rose in the building. What's going on, man?
Still worried, my guy.
Everything is love, my boy. We got my brother Ev in the building. What's happening, bro?
What's happening? What's happening? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
And we are back for another week of keeping it a buck, keeping it a bean, and keeping it clean. Up first, we got Keep It Clean solos. Does anybody want to take the floor first? All right, I'm going to take the floor first. Let me get my little timer going. Give me one moment. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Mm-mm-mm. Let's do it. So we got to keep it clean, man. Jason Tatum, you are not who you think you are. All right. You have a great team around you. You got great players around you. I watched that boy Jaylen Brown outplay you in the finals, and now in these playoffs, it looked like you finna show us once again that your team is what got you to where you at, and you are a great role player. Keep it clean with yourself. You went out there and stunk the joint up. Y'all was up a dub
Clean
twice.
Two
Come
times.
on, man. Keep it clean. You are not who you say you are, and we got to just keep it a bean, keep it a buck, and keep it clean about that. That's my keep it clean for the week. Who got next?
Anybody else got anything?
I got one. I'll go next. I'm gonna keep it clean with myself. And this goes for all y'all that are understanding that age just comes. I realize I'm old now, man. What the hell went clear over my head and I felt the gray hair start popping in that very moment. I didn't understand what that meant, bro. I'm looking at it and it hit me straight in the chest and it made me realize that I'm aging up. I found out what gooning means these days. And that's not the same goon that I remember when we came up. And if gooning means whatever this nasty stuff that the kids are saying, then what's a goon to a goblin? Like I don't understand what we're getting to in these points.
You're disgusting.
They're telling me that men dress like studs, and I'm just too old for I'm just too old for certain things. Men are dressing like studs, and last I checked, our straps are different. I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm old, and I just want to keep it clean with myself. That's exactly what's going on. That's all I got. That's all I got. Age gracefully. Be okay with understanding your age bracket. Let the new terms be the new terms, and let the kids have what they have. I'm keeping it clean with myself. Anyone else?
I just want to say our straps are different.
The strap I carry and the strap you carry is different. We
It's
dressing like studs. We got different straps,
vile.
bro. We got different straps, bro. I'm sorry.
All right, man. Rose, you got anything?
I was trying to goddamn. I was trying not to do this, man. But we'll try to keep it as short and concise as possible. Man, y'all hoes need to get some business about yourselves, man. This is what I'm gonna say, dog. Y'all hoes need to get some business. That's all I'm gonna say.
That is nuts.
All right. Ev, what you got?
All right, man. So, all right. I don't want to take up too much time. I'm try to keep it short, simple, but it may go a little further, man. I'm gonna just say this.
We only got a minute. We got a minute.
Yeah, I know. So,
but then again, we allotted some time. You can take over for what Rose and I left on the table.
I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna start off smart and get real eye level with you. You anti-intellectuals, you dumbasses. Stop it. All right. y'all are trading feelings and fake news for facts, trying to disprove science that is here for us to have a basis of understanding. Ishmael, not even Ishmael, I'm sorry, Antoine, from the Joe Budden podcast, you are one of those. You are intelligent. You do have knowledge on information. It is the wrong knowledge on information. All right. Okay. I want to tell you something. I know you. You're using Chat GPT to help you out. Don't do it. All right. This is my quote for you. Don't trade off incompetence for convenience. But that's what you're doing. And we can see it. All right. Mark Lamont, hey, he may not have all the knowledge on everything, but he has the scientific knowledge on a lot of things that he's talking about. So you might want to sit some of them combos out. You might just want to take heed and say, I don't know. Shout out to Nico. You just might want to say, I don't know. So that's my keep it clean for the week.
Are we highlighting that we're dealing with a lot of smart dumbasses?
Yes, that's what this world has now allowed us. Yeah, we got a lot of smart dumbasses here. We've now given everybody a voice, everybody credence, everybody power in their words. And now they're taking anything fake news as real news. We've seen it in our political stances. We've seen it now with everything that's we're associated with. And now those dumbass voices are getting the louder push, and is reckoning our children, is reckoning our peers. So yeah, we got a lot of smart dumbasses, and we got a lot of dumbass smart people. So it depends on how you want to look at it.
They meet in the middle.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, so what we have for keep it clean for y'all folks, we got Jason Tatum not being a hoe, knowing his business, pay attention to what straps are being raised, and read a book. You smart dumbass. That's a summary of our keep it cleans. Am I wrong? Y'all got a different version?
Pay attention to what straps are being raised. Coming off of your Jason Love thing is wild.
Hey,
wild.
I didn't even put that together, but
very wild. But yeah, we can keep it. Yeah.
I didn't want to bring up his hentai fascination, but we here. I guess that's how we starting off the pod. You want to go into the next? You want to go into the next?
Yeah, keep moving. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going. Ooh. You want to go there first? Y'all want to get started with the heavy joint out the gate? This Rodney Hinton joint?
Might as well.
Let's go.
All right.
Break down the situation.
So, in Cincinnati, Ohio, there was a young man, Rodney Hinton Jr., who was killed by the police. He was alleged to be stealing a car and alleged to have pointed a gun at a cop. One of the cops responding to the situation, though he got killed as a result. His father was showed the video of him being killed, and later on the next day drove his car into a unrelated deputy officer and killing him. He has been taken to jail, denied bond, and is being held on aggravated murder charges. And it's turning into an uproar. A lot of the police were there at his bond hearing. They're packing out the courtroom. They getting into altercations with his family members. Also in the courtroom, it's a whole spectacle. How do y'all feel about this? What's y'all's take on this?
I do want to add one tidbit before we really get into it. We don't have verification on which officer or the name of the officer that conducted the shooting of his son. That's a very key piece. They haven't released the name of that officer. So what we're going off of is, as of right now, an officer was struck down by Mr. Hinton, but there's nothing to confirm that officer that was struck down was the one that conducted the shooting of his son.
Right. And rest in peace to him. And rest in peace to Rodney Hinton Jr. as well. So, fellas, let's keep it clean. Where do we begin here? I'm not gonna say he's right. I'm not gonna say he's wrong. I don't feel like I hold no place for judgment for that. I'm gonna say I don't know what I would do if I watched the video of somebody killing my child. So that's kind of where I'm sitting with that. I think it's terrible that that's what happened, but I'm not gonna, say, oh, this man is a cold-blooded killer and all these other things. I can't imagine where he's at or where he was or anything like that.
I struggle with it. I struggle with because I can only speak for what my reactions might be, and I feel like me going through it, I'd want to know a name before I get to acting. I would want to know a name. I want to know who it was, and at the same time, I can't speak to someone going through in a heavily tumultuous state with emotions of you just losing your junior in the manner that you lost your junior. Right. So it's hard to speak on something when someone is seeing red. I think it creates that situation of how to justify reactions, especially if that key factor of you don't know if the person that you went after to conduct your vengeance was the actual person that handled the situation. The other factor of it is he was still seeing red, and this was on his route home. It wasn't like he went out of his way to go necessarily find somebody. This just happened to be an officer that was on his route home. He was driving home after, I believe, being shown the footage, if I'm correct.
He was shown the footage, and that day he was shown the footage and he couldn't drive home. His family took him home. They brought him back to get his car at it later. And on his way home, he came across the deputy that was directing traffic. And,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because that was all the same day.
And that's according to his lawyer. That's according to his lawyer.
Okay. So he saw the footage, was brought home, was taken back over there to get the car. This is all the same day. So
I think it was the next day. The next day when he got back, because it was like they took him home. He was distraught and then they brought him back the next day, got his car, and on his way home, he did what he did.
Okay. That's a tough situation. I might be of the stance of, for me, I would want to know who the person was before I do any type of acting out. But that I can only speak to how I might handle it, because I can't. If it wasn't him, it might have been somebody else in the family.
I was gonna say, just to run down the timeline, is he arrived at the police station, he got upset, left the building, then he left with his family members instead of his own car.
Mhm.
Then he returned to pick up the car. Then he left. Then he returned to the police department and drove through the parking lot. Then he left again and headed towards the campus with his family following him the entire way. That's the.
Yeah, that might be where I'm at.
And make note, he was directing traffic at a college graduation
Ev Rose.
So yeah, I struggle with it, where I struggle with the emotional side of what he was doing, but I look at the reality too. Like, I'm sorry, but you didn't get the person that we know for a fact that the person that he killed wasn't the person who took his child. You killed a retired sheriff, a man who just is doing crossing duty. That's the facts on the man that he killed. You took a random officer's life. I understand that. Like, look, I'm gonna be honest. That's not an eye for an eye. If that's the justice he think he going for. You didn't kill the one who. Did he take the man who took his child?
Did he fit the description?
I don't know the description.
The description is a cop.
I like how you said that. He fit the description. I like how you said that, but he knew for a fact it wasn't. Why you ain't do anything on the cop that was in the office, or the people that showed you the video? That's my thinking. So it ain't. A lot of people fit the description. Why did you get him?
The cop.
Why not the other ones? That's where I'm picking, because that wasn't the one who took your child. So that's where my whole thing is at. You took a random, like, and again, I would still say it's wrong, because not like
No, I'm with you. I don't
but it's
support.
just
I
I
don't
don't
support the
support that
action.
at all. It is just, for me, in my morality, even I don't agree with it. It'd be a little less if it was the man who did take your child, but it was a random retired man who, now, instead of your family just being destroyed, you've now destroyed that man's family. Not the man's family who destroyed yours. So that's why I look at it a little different.
I
So
get. I
No,
I guess I might have questions for both. I'll start with Nick first. If it's more of a fit the description, in these moments like this that we've seen where an officer, whether justified or not, has taken the life of a black individual,
mhm.
are you of the stance of matching energies?
I'm not saying what he did was okay or nothing like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if that's what's gonna happen, the ideal is, like, for example, when people say F the police, it's not F the one cop who did XYZ, it's F them as a whole, staff, record label, and a crew. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to them doing somebody wrong, it's like you may not ever know who that exact cop, well, you may not ever be able to find, bruh. But all of y'all abide by this same rule of when something happened with y'all shut up, because all of y'all the police. Y'all all had a blue wall of silence, the whole thing. So it's like, if somebody chooses to match said energy and hold y'all accountable by the system that y'all run through,
I feel like that's the wrong energy that they match it. You matching
I'm
the
not saying
energy.
it's all right. I'm not
No,
saying it's
no,
good.
because
I'm just saying
listen to me of how
that's
you explaining that. Think about it, and like I agree with on that premise, but think about how you explaining that. The energy to be matching is the killer who killed your child, not just a cop, just because they're all cops. That's not the energy to match. That's my problem. That's two different energies you matching.
okay. I get what you're saying. I
That's
don't
two different energies,
that,
and
that,
this
that- that-
because, and I say
it's
that,
not,
and this
but this is where I
sensitivity of
say
this matter.
it's not two different energies, because when something happens, when it's time to hold the police accountable, the police decide to go, oh, well, that's just, bruh, we all not like da. But all of y'all as a system have these problems that when it's time to address it as a system, y'all want to individualize it. So it's like, if we can't, and in the same individualizing of the problem, y'all don't give out the information to individualize these people so that we can track their records and all these type of things. So it's like, if I can't get behind that wall, I'm finna run the car into the wall.
But what is running that car into the wall help Rodney Hinton Jr. do?
I understand. I'm not saying it's
That's
a
my
good
problem
thing.
with this. That's
I
my
understand.
problem. This is not a win for nothing.
I understand. I
So
agree.
what
Okay,
point is it
because
making?
I agree.
because before I ask you your question now, because it what Nick is presenting, just to give some context, at least for this particular situation, from top to bottom, they didn't release the information of the party that fired the gun on Hinton's son. All the way through the solidarity stance that they took into the courtroom when they walked Mr. Hinton in, not allowing anybody else in the part of the community to sit in the public seating for the court proceedings, filling it up with all police officers, staring down the gentleman, walking out the family that was trying to, I think it was
His
Rodney
brother.
Hinton's brother.
Yep.
So walking him out and creating a ruckus. So from top to bottom, it's a solidarity stance, and
It's a
what
us
I
versus them.
believe Nick is and what I believe Nick is saying is, like, they pick and choose when you have the individuality. They pick if it's the potential victim or potential suspect for that matter. It's him or the idea of they all do the same thing. And then now on the flip side, what you would be presenting is, no, you should go get that one individual. So they don't treat the other side like individuals. The moral high ground is supposed to be on the parties that aren't that aren't tasked with protecting and serving, that aren't tasked with that being their job description and an oath that they take. So the free individual is supposed to be the moral high ground party, is at least what's being presented to you.
Well, not in this actual case, because I mean, him killing, either way, killing the cop, the actual cop killer or the random person, morally is wrong either way. either one is wrong. So that's why I say it's kind of difficult, because I've already said, like, I would feel less, like, I would feel more empathetic and more sympathetic if it was the guy that actually did it. That's why I'm like, that's where my confliction is, because it's still wrong regardless. I just think it would feel less wrong if you did it, because you're breaking, like I said, this isn't an eye for an eye completely to me. It's an eye
What
for
is
another, an adjacent eye. What point does it prove for you to? What point does it prove for you in that moment that you're trying to do? Are you trying to be a martyr, or are you doing this for your son?
It could be both.
which
And
I guess
and and then to me, the martyrship don't work for me. I don't get it, and I don't see it.
what does
I don't
less
see that
wrong
martyrship.
mean
That's why I was saying
if we're only working with right and wrong, at least from what I'm understanding from your perspective, Ev, what does less wrong mean?
feelings. That's why I said it. But then again, you can say fuck your feelings too. But I am saying it's feelings. That's the only lesser in it, because it is wrong regardless. And I'm if that's hypocritical, I'm standing on that, in that in it being hypocritical. I am.
I'm with
Okay.
you. Go ahead, bro.
No, but I'm just bouncing off
Oh
of
yeah,
y'all's thoughts.
I think it's terrible, bro. I think it's an all around tragic
And it is all
situation.
around.
Like it's all around terrible. But for the people that's, oh, he's a cold blooded cop
And I'm not
killer
saying
and
he a
all this.
cold blooded
I know. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying for the people that are on that type of time, it's like, dog, if it's possible to have some type of grace or empathy for what somebody was going through in that moment, I can't, like, bro, I done lost my grandma and almost swerved off the side of the road. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's being in a certain state, that immense state of grief and all the anger and all that, like just losing your son in a violent way. Also, I'm not gonna say Buddy was, he went home and planned to do that. I have no idea. His lawyer is claiming insanity, which I think makes sense. But yeah, it's all around tragic episode. But I think it should lend to the idea of the police need to do better when they handling these situations, bro. Period.
Absolutely. They said, because of how the son passed, they said, the dude, he showed up and killed him in a matter of 6 seconds. That's
Yeah.
no way to be able to analyze the situation, in my opinion. Like, so just 6 seconds of somebody running away, and you just say, hey, he has a gun, so you shoot while he's running away. No, not at all. But I also don't see the intentionality of you driving into a crossing guard and killing him either. I don't see that either in the point.
Highlighting the other situation, because I don't want us to come across as if we're just kind of brushing the initial situation under the rug. Break down the details of that, the initial shooting. If someone would break down those details.
It was allegedly that we're in the process of stealing a car, and the police responded to them stealing a car. Yeah, Rodney Hinton Jr.
and other
his friends,
other parties,
and his people, and some people. I ain't gonna say friend. I don't know. But they're in the process of stealing the car. Police get called. They respond, and they're running away from the scene. And in them running away from the scene, there's 2 cops, and they're saying he has a gun. He has a gun. One on your right, he has a gun. They get over there to, I guess, come in contact with him, and shots ring out. They do recover a gun, but we don't see through body cam footage whether it was actually pointed or anything like that. We don't actually see it in the body cam footage. You see a photo of it like later in the process. So that's the extent of that.
And let me want to mention something too. Another part of it, where we can say this on the police, like the negligence. Only I believe it was 4 cops, right?
I think so, something like that.
Only one had his body camera on. The other 3 was off, and then the footage of it, apparently, that they did show the family, was very blurry and chopped, like not chopped, but very blurry. You couldn't really see it and everything. So there is like a lot of like, wait, it could be some foul play in this too, that the belief can go on to a victim's family in that too. Like, we don't want to disregard that at all. So I did want to make sure like that's known too. Like, there was some negligence handled from the police side in it, regardless.
And to give just a tad bit more clarity, and then at this point, Rose, you get your input in the shooting, at least from the video footage that's available to the public that I've seen. The officer who has his body camera on ran past a dumpster. So they both met on the other side of the dumpster that looked like it obstructed both views. At least that's the way that they're trying to present it. So they popped out behind the dumpster. I believe Mr. Hinton Jr. He had either tripped or he was like partially on the ground. He wasn't necessarily still running. You see a black object, but again, in the footage, it doesn't look like a gun. But if with someone coming around the corner, the officer's interpretation was that it was, and that it was pointing at him and proceeded to fire shots. So I just wanted to kind of paint a little bit more of the picture as far as because we might have to break down both interactions. We touched on the father's reaction, but just going through another shooting, we've been presented with another one, more or less. We've been presented with another one that's going to go. In my eyes, that's why I have a hard time with what the dad did. Is the initial shooting, the handling, what Ev you just highlighted, the body cameras weren't on for all parties involved. The potential of lack of accountability or lack of clarity, if you will, even to the removal or the not removal, the halt to releasing the name of the shooter. All of this might get swept under the rug because of what his father did, which is where my difficulty is because like the justice that had the opportunity to be sought is now being murked because of the follow-up actions that you went through. So I don't want this portion of it to be washed away at all either, as far as what did happen to his son. But Rose, I don't think we've given you an opportunity to give your input.
Yeah, no, I ain't got a lot to say. Just a quote, man. I can't sugarcoat the answer for you. This is how I feel. Somebody kill my son, that means somebody getting killed. And that ain't, that's just what it is. Like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But if you ain't never lost no child, I can't tell you, and I ain't never lost one, and I can't tell you how I would react in that moment of delirium and hurt and pain. I can't tell you how I would react. But as Ev was saying, it's like that ain't the right eye for an eye, but you can say that in hindsight. Like as you looking at it from an outside perspective, and especially since there's information that we don't know, there's probably information that he does know. And I'm not saying that, he caught the right person. I don't know. I don't know why he chose that specific person, but I've seen in the pictures, seen him in the courthouse. He looks very stoic. He looks very calm. He looks very, I did what I was supposed to do, and matter of fact. So I mean, he looks like he's at peace with his decision. I think we gotta wait till there's more information given, and I'll have a better opinion about the situation.
Okay, so for all three of y'all, let me ask this question: what information could come out, or first and foremost, are any of your stances up for potential change? And then, if so, what information would be needed for you to maybe see a different perspective?
Yeah, because like who did this? Like who killed your son? Was this the off-duty cop's son? Was it like one of his homies? Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, did you catch a remnant of the circle type?
Did you get your get back in a different way? Like some shit that we don't know about. It seems like he understood what he was doing.
I don't want to say that though. Like I don't know if he understood what he was doing.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Know what I mean?
Just saying it didn't feel like it was random. Like I just caught somebody in the road. But even if it was, I'm kind of with Nick a little bit, to the point to where this is a result of the system where people are not being held accountable, and so when people aren't being held accountable, I think people are just so pissed off that you just start doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's where
even
my
if it ain't the
problem
right thing.
I get what you say. I think it goes back to that, like handling it on the front end. Like if we don't have this history of police abusing us, you know what I'm saying, and killing us and going home and killing us and getting GoFundMe's and killing us and getting accolades and pulled up to speeches and all types of shit. And it's like you don't have a system where somebody will be like, you know what, I don't care which cop it is, all of y'all can go. Because that's essentially what it becomes. Like it's a real us versus them type of mentality. And they feed into it too with not holding their own people accountable for this bullshit. Every time it's time to be like, yo, we need to fix how policing works. It's a few bad apples. Like niggas don't know a few bad apples don't spoil the bunch. Like, what are we talking about? So
And also, I mean, they carry their shit how family carries everything. It's like,
you know what
even
I'm
if
saying?
this person was wrong, now we stand with them through that blue line.
And we
You
gonna
know what I'm
handle that
saying?
in
Like,
house and
and
all of that.
that's why they doing that shit in court. Like they all pulling up at one time trying to do police intimidation, and they trying
Because
to
it's like,
do.
And that's terrible.
what's y'all job?
That's terrible.
Y'all ain't supposed to be on the beat right now. Y'all ain't supposed to be
That's a part of it.
wasting dollars.
y'all wasting taxpayer dollars to go sit in a courtroom. Like
Okay,
what?
so
That's a part of
yeah,
it.
that is crazy. We can address that. Don't leave that point. Let me pin it really quick. Ev, your part on it. Like, is there something? Just going back to the question, it's same for y'all. Is there something that would be presented right now, whether it be the name of the individual that conducted the shooting, whether it be you did find out that the sheriff had some type of connection, or he didn't have any connection to it, and it was just a one-off. Is there anything that will be presented right now to as far as potentially changing your current stance?
For me, no, because for me it's still all around tragic, regardless. Like I'm in the space of even to like responding to the violence with violence. While I understand the premise, it's like regardless, there's still extra consequences that come from that. Like Ev said, now there's a family that is gonna have to mourn, pay for a funeral, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like while it may be evened out in a certain sense, regardless of whether that was the person that did it to your child or not, for me, the loss of life, the bring on of grief, the bring on of pain, and all of that, that doesn't make it correct for me. It's still just a tragic situation. Like it's
But what makes it correct?
nothing.
At what point is something correct?
Nothing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said in the
Okay.
front, I don't judge whether he was right or wrong. I just I understand what he did. I'm not gonna sit there to be like, oh, you was fucked up and you shouldn't have done it. Like I may not have done it, but I can't tell you for sure if I wouldn't have done that.
I think at certain points, to at least for my answer to you, Rose, is doing the best with context, because I may have a disagreement with just the generalities of everything, because even in some of the simple moments, state to state, they have different laws on how you can respond to a police officer, like whether or not you have to participate in the investigation. Some states have it written out that even if it's unlawful, you have to then fight it only in court, where some states have it you can stand your ground right there in that moment, just like we've had situations with wrongful knocks or wrongful warrant. They went to the wrong address, and then somebody responded in self-defense in that moment because they didn't have it. Some states allow that, some states don't. And even those moments of context, at least for me, that's where it becomes important, because I can only speak for me. I would never want to be in that position, but I know as someone that has kids, someone would have to stop me, because I'm getting a name. I'm getting a name, and God forbid if I obtain a name, it's not just going to be a random person, but that's me. Because at the same time, when you're seeing red, I don't know, and that's where I go back to your question. I think rights can be determined with context. I know what happens in Texas. I know what the stand your ground state represents. I know when they can't even ask for your ID in the first place. I know it's required for them to obtain that information before it becomes unconstitutional. So I think on my end, I also push for understanding what you're doing in the first place before you go outside, to have the best case scenario, to be aware of your situation. So when it comes to my reaction, I'm probably feeling there was a lot of things bypassed that was supposed to be an understanding. And now I'm tracking you down, right? So I do think there's rights and wrongs. That's where I stand on it. I can't just go with the generalities. I think on both sides there has to be a due diligence to understand what is the context of the society that you're stepping into that day, your town, city, state. This is what it looks like. We have the understanding they feel a way towards black people, and black people feel a way towards blue lines. right? If that's an understanding, or if that's at least what the social norm is saying on most of the times you go outside, you have that context. So what is it that you could do on your side, and what is it that they could do on their side? And to me, if you know, if you're on the other side and you know this is what it looks like and these are the things that you are supposed to be doing, that's not my job to wait for you to figure it out. That's how I look
The
at it.
only pushback I got for that, Ray, is there are people that understand everything that you just said and do the right thing, and the all of that encompassed in one. And when you're dealing with somebody that could be having a bad day, or could be just being a dickhead, or could be, what I'm saying, as far as police officers and shit can just go wrong. You know what I'm saying?
And
And I don't know if that was this specific situation, because like I said, we do need more context. But
I'm speaking to
you
you
know,
though.
yeah, I mean,
What
there's
you just
people
said,
that
no. What
you
I'm
could be.
saying, what you just said, I'm speaking to that in my stance, at least for me. So let me add more clarity for the understanding. I've already been on this podcast and just in general in life stating, you judging my reaction to your action is skipping past your own self accountability. So take the self accountability to do what you were supposed to do in the first place. So we don't have to sit here and argue emotions or how it went, or it should not have went that far. Do your position, because my understanding was I'm supposed to be a citizen. And even though there's extra sentiments that you feel towards my citizenship, I'm doing the parts that I need to do to make sure I can try my best to avoid these types of encounters. So now
And,
that we are here,
and real quick,
my position is you should have been knowing what you were supposed to have been doing. So once you step that, your lack of knowledge of what your right or wrong is, or your intent to bypass that anyways, you put us in this situation.
right?
That's
Because
where I'm at on it.
that's what I was gonna say. Like when you get to even what he's saying as being a citizen, it's like because we can keep it in context of, let's say allegedly this child was committing a crime. Even in committing a crime, I still am due certain rights. I still have due process. I still am due that. So even in that, for the police, when you pull up and you supposed to de-escalate this situation and make sure it's safe for everybody around us, how does pulling up firing 6 shots at this boy make this safe?
And that's
Well,
where
it's more of a it's
I
more of a
don't push
deeper
back. I
conversation,
present
because
both sides.
that's you thinking that the police look at you as a citizen.
No, but that's
That
the
or
issue.
even
That's the
or
issue
even
though.
in this
That's what I'm
even
getting
in this
to in the front
context though.
end. That's
Even
what
this
you get to in
context
the
though,
front end.
what I'm also presenting is, if we're going to highlight one side, we do have to do the due diligence of highlighting the other side. From the video that we saw, if you are being put onto a potential violent act, and that's what your job is, to try to go and de-escalate, right? And you're getting to that situation and it's already high intensity or high adrenaline moving because y'all are doing a physical activity of sprinting. You're trying to track someone down. They both cross paths with a dumpster that impeded both sides' sight. So when you pop out on that other side of the dumpster and you're already running, you're already under the impression that this was a violent act. It's hard to just say, yeah, man, how do you unload 6 shots? He popped out, he saw something, and that's what he was trained to do.
And that's
That's
my
what
issue.
he was trained to do.
Yeah,
So
that's my
we
issue.
could, but that's why I'm saying with the context piece of it, it's not just how do you fire 6 shots. That's how.
No, I understand. I understand that. I'm saying in the training aspect, there should be training to put in place to understand that is not de-escalating the situation.
Then what do you do in that moment if you were given? I don't. Okay, let me ask this
Because I
before I say
understand what
what
you're
I
saying.
say.
I understand what you're saying.
What
If he's running around the corner and buddy behind him is screaming, he has a gun, and then you pop the corner and you think you see a gun. I get it. I understand. I'm not saying he
then
was
you answer
wilding.
my question.
Yeah, I'm
Because
not
I was
saying he
about
was
to ask.
wilding. Yeah, no,
I was
I'm
about
not
to
saying
ask.
he's tripping.
Do we have clarity on the actual call when they were in pursuit of Mr. Hinton Jr., whether they had stated there was a weapon or not?
No.
No,
Okay,
no.
and in that
I think
moment,
he
that's where the
stated that he
context
had
is.
a weapon in the
On
like
the
as
on
he
route.
shot, like he
As they
has a
running
gun.
around, as they coming up,
Yes.
because as they running up, he's going, he has a gun, on your right, and then makes the right and starts shooting.
And did he have a gun?
They found a
We
gun,
don't
but
know.
we don't know if
They found
they
one, but
said
we
he
don't
Well,
know
they
if
pointed it.
found a gun.
They found a
yeah,
gun,
we don't
but
know
we
if
don't
he
know
had it.
if he had it. We don't know if he pointed it. We don't know none of that.
And that's another thing. When these situations happen, is like I do highly recommend it, and I know most black families, and just families in general, there should always be an independent source of investigation to be able to go through all of these things that have no biasness of the situation, just an independent source. That way we
100%.
get you guys' story and then we get an independent story and then we kind of try to piece it together from there. So that's what I'm saying. My stance may change if, maybe a independent source comes out and says, no, we got some more of the camera footage that couldn't be come out to the public. And, he was running with a gun this whole time. And, I don't know. But I'm saying as a father, I don't give a fuck if my son was wrong. You killed my son, like point blank, period. So, I mean,
You
that's
feel
kind of where I stand in that.
You feel me?
And yeah, to answer your question, right? Yeah, nothing would change my mind because he didn't kill the man. He didn't do it to the man who actually. It's not my stance is not changing at all
Yeah,
because he
but if
didn't.
that was your
And that's
man's,
why
that's good enough for me.
and that's why I'm different because it's like no, it ain't.
Because the
Especially
way I'm looking at it, he a cop, so he is your man.
If that's your man's, I'm cool.
and that's why it's for
Like
me.
that's
It's
how I
like
see it
if I'm
personally.
gonna be, and that's why I say
Slide
it's
the bar.
intentionality. If I'm being intentional with this, I'm making sure I get the right person.
I hear you.
That's my thing.
Because I'm in that same boat with you.
Like
I
if
know
I'm gonna
my
do this
mind,
if I'm gonna do this and be locked up and I'm gonna destroy this, I'm gonna destroy it and make sure what caused me to it is destroyed too. I'm not gonna create destruction.
I hear you.
That's in that moment taking somebody that's random because you don't know now what's going to be levied from that family. It might be somebody ready to do the same thing that he just did to just somebody black.
I mean,
So in
hopefully,
this moment, what can we keep it clean
And
on?
that's why it's so now. Oh, a black person just fit the description. If we got into those parallels of what could be created from that,
Yeah.
that's
So
why I'm
hopefully,
like, I'm getting
hopefully, as the news develops, that we're able to come back to this conversation and update. So like, let's stick on this, and as things develop, we come back and give a new opinion on that topic.
Facts.
Okay, so then my next question would be as we like round that corner, based on what we have now, based on what y'all just said, respecting your stances, because I think everyone has presented something that we clearly see have differences. There's some agreements, there's some disagreements, but we see where the differences are. So with having different stances, based on what we know, what you said, keep it clean on what you need from here on out or how to handle it. Like what's your keep it clean for facts presented, what we could possibly do better on. And we is all inclusive in this question.
What we could do better on in regards to what?
Because this is a societal thing. This goes from the specific community to community in general. This is the specific actions on both sides. When I say we, you have a black child, you have a white officer, you have white people, you have black. What can we do better on based on this context in here? And I can start off like, for example, we could do better. Y'all need to have a better update on how body cameras are supposed to work on the officer side. Because I'm aware of body camera technology that exists now that is being utilized in some of the spaces that I participate in, to where if, say, Ev, you turn yours on and we're tracking down someone, even if Rose and I or Nick haven't turned ours on, when they get into a particular range, they automatically activate. So you don't have to press the button. So that eliminates that part of, oh, he forgot to turn it on. You update that department policy and make sure that you have something in place. If you're going to utilize that, take some of that budget to spend on these equipments, do what they're supposed to do, because it's supposed to be for the safety of both of us. On the other side, I understand how this played out in the reaction. Could there have been something done to where we had those boys doing something different than what they were doing that day? Is where I'm trying to keep it clean. I'm still sticking with the same notion that I've been saying as far as tap in with your boys, tap in with that community. Is what I don't know why they were doing that. I don't know why they were participating in those activities, but that is the starting point to everything else we're talking about right now in this moment. That those decisions that occurred there during that time frame, I don't know what was known, what was unknown, if dad knew where they were at or the family knew where they were at, if he lied, if he told the truth, I don't know. But we should try to put something in place to where you don't even consider that being an option for your day-to-day activity, and us hopefully not having to get down this process of what was going on. From my understanding, based on the situation, he wasn't running from a violent act. He wasn't doing something in reaction himself. He wasn't doing something that was potential self-defense. based on the allegations, he was doing something that he chose to go out and potentially take away from somebody else. If it was trying to steal a car, if it was trying to do whatever else was coming, you were engaging in that activity yourself. Could we have done something to giving him another option to do that day? That's where my keep it clean and pushing forward where my stance is.
I'm gonna agree with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so part of my keep it clean was kind of twofolded. Of one, hopefully something for that, but my other part was gonna be police training, kind of in the same way. Of overall, again, that's probably a higher overarching thing. But yeah, better police training, because your first point should be de-escalation. Like you said, the initial point we got to was, hey, y'all, who knows, they were trying to do that just for fun. They had, intent behind it, but boom, they had this act. The next act was a shooting. Both things need to be curved. Both of them, both causes and reactions to that cause. Both have to. That's the part that has to be curved, which is police training, because it shouldn't just be pull up, fire, and now you got a dead child. So that's part of it. And again, yes, if they not doing that today, you probably don't get here. We can't guarantee it, but we probably could say that probably doesn't happen. But it starts at both curves. But I would say, of course, police training, because if you de-escalate instead of just shooting shouldn't be a form of de-escalation. Let me put it that way. That's my answer for it.
Yeah, I would pretty much, piggyback off what y'all said. I think police better training is necessary on the front end. They're the people who have the responsibility to protect the citizens, right? Citizens fuck up. Citizens do things that citizens break laws. You dig what I'm saying? Even in citizens breaking laws, they still have due process. Is there a better situation where if his family situation is better, he's not participating in that activity that day? Sure. The way I'm looking at it, the demographics of Cincinnati and the money situation that's going on over there government wise, I get it. I can see why somebody would be running around doing that. That ain't the most luxurious spot to be in, type shit. So when I'm looking at looking at on the front, I'm looking at it from a front end perspective. If we handle on the front end, trying to make sure the citizens is put up in a situation where they're not having to do these types of things, I think you curve a lot of this extra. And for the police, even if he was still in the car, 18-year-old boy still in the car does not deserve to be dead. That can be helped, that can be alleviated, that can be probationed away. There's plenty of ways that he can be arrested, tried, convicted of if he did a crime, and then remediated through the process. That pulling up and killing him doesn't solve the problem of why he was still in the car, and if he was still in the car. So that's where I say with it. What you got, Rose?
I don't think I necessarily have a keep it clean on it. I mean, I think these are conversations that have been had for a long time. I think when a system is inherently evil, you continue to get evil, and until there is a change in said system, you will continue to get the same thing. I mean, it's insanity to think that you would get something different after years and years and years and years of this shit. It has less to do with what that child was doing or whatever the fuck was going on. Of course, de-escalation, but people been shouting for that. Of course, police training, but people been shouting for that. And so at the end of the day, what you get is a child dead, and then you get an innocent person dying because a father is mad that his child was took. So it's about fixing the corrupt system. And there are only a few ways that you can fix some of these things. And unfortunately, we would like to think that we don't have to do some of these things. I don't really want to get into that of radicalism and all that shit, but there are certain things that do need to happen, and until those things happen, we will continue to be stuck in the same place. So it's not necessarily keep it clean, but it's necessarily like until people just start moving a different way, you will continue to get the same thing for sure.
Yeah, certain change don't come until escalation happens. That's
And I understand both of y'all sentiments just now. What I guess I'm trying to challenge us to do is that is very big picture. I understand. You got to step at least on a smaller scale that is tangible right now that someone can grab and implement for free, because we know money always comes up. We understand the circumstances. Do you have something small and tangible based on this potential context right here in this moment that they could possibly do to take a step towards that grand goal that you speak of?
most
And
on
that was
the
more that
citizens.
was more to Rose, because
Okay.
from what I took away from your point, Rose, it was more like on the grand scale. I understand that they've been
Yeah.
screaming that we've been dealing with these issues, and I track full agreement. Sometimes speaking in a grand gesture, we leave it there, and then we still don't have anything tangible to say. All right, I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
still try
if it's
this.
something tangible that you would like to reach for, I mean,
That's why I'm asking you.
it's gonna sound ignorant, but if I mean, if you out there committing crimes, like there's a certain way you have to. It's a certain way that you have to move, especially once you do get caught. You gotta kind of lay shit down. Like it sounds ignorant to the point, if especially when you was talking about understanding laws and understanding what's happening, but
Mhm.
if once you dead to rights, just be dead to rights, bro. Like, don't try to take off. Don't try to goddamn do extra shit once you're caught, because then you end up in a situation like you said. Oh, you around the trash can, and somebody can yell that you got a gun, and then all of a sudden now everybody's shooting. It's just like, bro,
I respect the
once
shit
you
out of that.
caught, just get caught. That's a part of
I
it.
do,
Unless you
because if you signed up for it and you know exactly what it is and the potential risks of what you get into, you signed up for today's
unless you
activities.
don't care, unless you just don't give a fuck, but other people
And you,
care
and you
about you. And that's what we
So
running into.
and even in that understanding, if you're one of those that don't care, you should be taking that accountability that others might not care either, since they're, and that's where it comes back to what I'm saying. I'm in agreement with you, Rose, because I'm on the side. Don't come at me about my reaction to your action if I was minding
yeah,
my own business, because at minimum, that's what I'm saying. Can we do something specific? And I loved your answer, because now we have that accountability. You knew what you put your name on that signature line for.
For sure.
that's what
You
I was about
And
to
I
anticipated
I
will
say.
in that
agree.
say,
activity.
Yeah,
as a person that has dibbled and dabbled in
Bullshit.
outside
A little dibble
activity,
dabble.
is
Bullshit.
there are other people. Your actions directly affect people that are connected to you. But when you are moving a certain way outside, you're not thinking about that. You being selfish. You worried about how I'm gonna get money, how I'm gonna get out this situation,
Mm-hmm.
how I'm gonna further myself. But no, you still got a mom, you still got a dad, you still got a family. These people are going to be affected by things that you do. So I would say to people that are outside moving around, and just in general, your actions always directly affect people that are close to you. So just
Yeah.
always have that in mind when you committing any type of crime, when you hurting people, when you lying, when you cheating, when you stealing. Have that in mind, that your actions directly affect people, and shit can get nasty off of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ed, what you got?
no, I was about to say, because of while Rose was talking, it really does sound like what's being lacked is accountability on all fronts. Like that's something that just needs maybe. And I was about to like I was posing something in my head is that maybe that's one of the first things that we need to teach as children growing up adult is that accountability, because I don't think it's taught in that broader sense. Like when you say it that way, every action has a direct reaction. Y- And if you do an action, be caught dead to rights, that's accountability. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But we never word it in that. We always just say, hey, if you, but no, that's in every scenario of life. I think and that's what it was just, I was going to mention, like, that's the thing. I think it's really there. We lack accountability on all fronts in every scenario. No one wants to be the bad guy, even
Yeah.
if they're
That
doing the
part.
bad thing.
That
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. I would.
That part.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because off what right after what Ev just said, that's what I'm thinking about. I think I should also add that context, and as y'all get to know as the listeners, you'll see where it's coming from. Because I'm fully on the side of I have to keep it clean with myself and work on my patience and grace when certain things happen to me, because I'm under the understanding of my premise is I mind my business. So when you came into my business, me allowing you grace is fully up to me, and I'm not there most of the time, because you could have stayed across the street. So once you get here and I go straight to slap him up, I'm sorry. I'm working on that part. Maybe this time is like a quick grab or an
And
elbow,
I
but
think and I
I'm
think
getting
that
there.
may be the
You
problem
feel
too,
me?
Ray. We like to play and we like to joke around, especially a couple weeks ago when we doing that segment, grab him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not minding your business. You need to
It is
grab
though,
motherfuckers and tell them, hey, bro,
but part
you
of it is
doing
minding your business.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and try to
That's also
and
minding
try
your
to
business though.
catch you before you get to this point.
that's
No,
minding
no,
your
well,
that
that's minding your business. You know why?
again, because
Because
I
he's in
yeah,
your area.
right.
He's in your area. So if you see him and you're in that position to where you're seeing someone, this isn't just a one-off either. When we're saying that, like you just happen to be walking by, you saw a dude on the street, I get what you're saying. But if you've been around him, this is the second, third, fourth time. Yeah, it's now a part of your business because you put yourself in that situation. So grab him before he goes and ruins not only your business and everybody else's as
Yeah,
well.
because it's
That
like
is minding your business to me.
you said, all of your actions have effects on the people that's around you, and even in our communities that's at arm's reach. It's like if there's somebody in my community at arm's reach that's doing some bullshit, I need to grab them because at
For
a certain
sure.
point, that bullshit that you're doing is gonna permeate
It's
and
gonna
come
affect
through the
me.
rest of the rest of
Yeah,
exactly. And this is
because
and regardless of if it's gonna affect me, if it's affecting people negatively within my community, I need to get you to stop doing
That's a
that. Period.
problem.
because
Yeah.
And
don't come over here telling me, oh yeah, I knew about bull, I knew it was crazy. What you mean you knew? Like
Yeah, like what
don't
you
come
talking
by
about?
me. What you mean you knew? And then
And that's what
thinking
I'm
we
saying.
just gonna let that
It's a
slide.
direct thing. It's a big difference between and I'm gonna get off of this so we can get to the next topic. But back in the day and currently, you could be out somewhere and it just be an elder black person and you doing some bullshit. Yo, stop embarrassing your mama. Stop doing this.
Yep.
Stop doing that. And it's not out of malice. It's an understanding of what people have been through for the greater whole and the
Mhm.
greater part of the community for you to get your shit together, for you to understand that your actions directly affect the rest of us. Because if you in here embarrassing motherfuckers in the store, the next one of us that come in here, that affects us too, nigga. You in here
That's when
doing
community
bullshit.
ass
You
whoopings
hurting
were
the
being handed
community.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's when community ass whoopings were being handed out.
And
facts.
I'm
Big
gonna wrap it
facts.
up with this line right
Let
here.
me see.
Everything that we just said for our community, police, apply that to your community.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
That's all I just
100%.
want, because everything we just said made sense. So y'all make it make sense too.
It's cap in your raps, man. So this segment, I want to do a slight cleanup from the first time we introduced it. So this doesn't have to be strictly for rappers or entertainers. This can be for whoever you came across in the last week that was blatantly lying about whatever. So with that being said, Donald Trump, president, commander, and thief. Let me holler at you right quick. He was getting interviewed on Meet the Press last week, couple days ago, and made this asked about why the government, why the GDP has shrunk in the first 100 days. This man said, "Yeah, I think parts of the economy, the good parts, I think that's me, right? And I think the bad parts of the economy, that's Biden. We still got to deal with what he gave us." And I just want to keep it clean right quick. Donald, and I'm not gonna belabor this point. I ain't gonna get super crazy with you. Donald, you did a tariff war. You implemented all of these tariffs. What that did was make the prices go up on the products that we bring into the country. What that meant was that all those businesses that we have over here that import bought all of their stuff before your stuff went into effect. What that means is they have a surplus of inventory. At the same time, because we know now that the tariffs are going to go into play, the prices are going to go up. What does that mean? Us, the consumers, are not going to buy it because we can't afford it. And you know what? 70% of our GDP, Donald, I'm sure you know this because you're the president, it's consumer spending. So when you go and fry the consumer spending, 70% of the GDP, fry the business investment, which is another part of the GDP, and fry government spending through Elon cutting all of those federal jobs, you have effectively fried our GDP. So when it shrinks and you say that's Biden, keep it clean, brother. That's you. That's it.
And I'm gonna add to that. There's even more cap. Speaking of tariffs, after this all nonsense, he said he wasn't moving no tariff numbers, none of that. You know, China had 145%. Well, yesterday he moved them back down to 80%. So there are indeed caps in your raps. You still keep manipulating because you know China's not folding. They don't give a damn. The same way they don't, they say, hey, we'll pay the fine, we'll pay the bread because you still need us. And they ain't folded. So now you folding again. You keep on saying you hell bent on we gonna move this way. And you seeing that they not moving your way.
And now
So
you
you
got to
gotta
backtrack.
fold. So yeah, bro, it's real capping them raps Donald Trump. It's bad business for you.
Well, I didn't think I had one, but then y'all went that route. I'll go the other route. Hey, Joe Biden. I don't know why you say you would have won if you would have ran because Kamala lost. You're showing your age. That's all I have. You are showing your age.
Yeah, your
The
mind
nerve of you to
completely
say that in
gone.
the first place.
Your mind is completely gone if that's what you came out saying. I know what happened when you went home. They need
That
to
boy
put you in that
said-
home.
That man said, and it's
What?
I more or less quote, I know why she lost because people are sexist and it might have been a race thing, but I would have won if I ran. In that
The
moment,
man who was losing when he
You was
bowed
losing.
out.
You was losing when you bowed out.
Did he
sir,
forget he bowed
that's
out?
all
Did
I
he forget
have.
he was in the race still already?
Yeah,
He gave up.
Yes, he
we
forgot.
don't have to run.
Yeah, he
We don't
forgot.
have to run it.
He
We don't have to
forgot.
run it that deep for this one. You're showing your age, my man. You was capping, and you're so old and where your thought process is. Have someone explain to you what cap means. Get one of your translators that do the translation just to let you know what we
Actually,
mean by that. That's
don't.
it. That's all I got.
No, hold on real quick, Ray.
That's all-
Don't. Take Ray's advice from earlier in the pod and just let us have that. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
There is indeed cap and Donald, you know what I'm saying? Look, brother, what you're not gonna do is play in my face on TV, man. That's not what we're gonna continue to do. You're not gonna get on TV and hire a surgeon general and tell me that this person that you came and hired a surgeon general on the recommendation of Mr. Kennedy. Now, it is your job, brother, to understand who the person you're hiring is. That's your job. You came and told me that this person was the top of their class. They didn't even graduate. They don't even have an active license in health. You can't come to me and do that, Donald. You
He
can't
sounds
do
unhealthy.
that, brother.
Listen, man. The head, listen, man.
Donald.
You have to make sure that you can what you can't eat, what you need. We all have to eat the right foods. Like listen.
All jokes aside, when he
Listen.
talk about I fuck with you, Rob, and I hate that
No,
Donald tried to just throw
no.
you under the bus.
Wait,
I hate
wait.
Donald just
Hey,
tried
hold on,
to
whoa,
throw
whoa,
you
whoa.
under
Two
the
things
bus.
can be true, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, that whole banning, like, what was it, Red 45?
Cool. Cool.
Yes.
Didn't he say
Yes.
ADHD or something don't exist?
That's terrible. He's wilding.
We can't
Like,
come
He's
on,
willing to
bro.
go back and
that
forth.
bread. Man.
Also,
bro.
he has walked back some of the things that he said. So I do respect. There are
man said
very
HIV ain't
specific
real.
things, especially with vaccines. Robert has walked back of saying that, okay, maybe we need to run very specific trials, placebo trials, and all this shit to understand what the fuck I'm saying. The problem is you niggas have not gone to school for this shit and don't have the prerequisite knowledge of how fucking health works. That's
The
the
science
main
isn't real.
issue here.
They're anti-intellectuals.
They're
There you go.
anti-intellectuals.
The
Facts.
science
Well,
came
They're
from
not only and I don't want to call them anti-intellectuals. They're lacking the skills to have opinions on the things that you would need to have an opinion on some of this shit. So, and Donald, stop. Don't use scapegoats when you're hiring people, bro.
Facts.
That is
Keep it clean.
that's not what a leader does. If you hire somebody, that's your hire. Don't say I hired them on the recommendation.
Facts.
And that's all I got to say on that.
For sure. For sure. Ray, you got a question for us, brother?
yeah. Just a general question. I was asked this, so I want to I want to let y'all know I've been doing the Ask Slaves. I've been asking sisters. So any of y'all listening, if you want to shoot a question where you want the men to keep it clean on or give their answers, that y'all are putting faith in us. Y'all are putting faith in us to give y'all details to general questions that you may have experienced or you just wonder about. So I had a question that
Who
was
asked?
presented.
Who asked this question? No, I'm just kidding. You
You
ain't
know,
gotta
I'm
put him
still,
on spot.
yeah, you
Don't
know,
put him on spot.
some
Don't put him on
names,
spot. Don't put him on
some
spot.
names I was told to swear to secrecy, and other ones were like, nah, tell me, say the name. And I was like, see, now you're trying to put me in the middle of whatever you got going on. So
You trying to start a
go
race
from there.
war?
You,
Yeah, I want to know exactly who said it because I want to go respond to them.
oh Lord. All right. So here's a question. Do y'all think that after you go on a few dates with a woman, right, y'all get to know each other a little bit, and you realize that y'all are possibly just incompatible, right? It's cool. It's not gonna work out. Should they pass you along to the friend group? You know, just because it didn't work for them, you should be
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's
Okay.
that early, if it's early 2 or 3, yeah. Now we
Yeah.
actually successfully dated. No,
Pass
I
me around
understand.
to it.
But yeah, treacherous twins.
Like, come on, man. Yeah,
Locked
like
in.
we wasn't really, you know, it wasn't even all that serious. Lock in.
I mean, one of the bros
The-
already asked after it didn't work for me, so just lob me,
You know,
not lob you.
it's all good. It's all love.
So should it
Clippers,
go both ways?
CP3 Clippers.
Yeah, I'm not
So
finna
you
hold.
okay.
I ain't finna hold court on you. Go ahead.
See, and that's the thing. You said 2 or 3. That means this was early, and we figured this out, and didn't
Yeah,
get nothing to start it. We figured this out
Mhm.
early.
it's
That's no
cool.
harm, no
We
foul.
pick wrong first a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Like it might have been big facts. You know what I'm saying? I might have needed to see, like, oh, actually, it's not you. It's really, you know what I'm saying?
Really your folks now.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it shouldn't be no harm. Like it's all community, man. You know.
And you know
We
a woman's
pick
favorite
first.
thing to say, you know I used to talk to him, right? Yeah, we texted for sure. Like we was
We
talking.
we
But don't
pick
dress it
wrong
up as
first.
like
We had some friendly acquaintances. Realize, you know
We
what?
kicked
even
it.
if I cry.
we
It's the
pick wrong
homie.
first a lot. It's it's
It's a fact.
hilariously
It's
crazy, bro.
true.
It's a fact. Because real talk. Is your wife your first girlfriend? No.
Hell no.
Yo, that's some man shit to
Hey,
say.
hey.
Will it be your last?
If I cut hair one time, I'll
Hey,
barber.
we're not doing that. We're not doing that, Rose. We're not doing that,
I didn't
Rose.
see what he said.
He said, "Is it gonna be your last?" We're not doing that.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Look, it's the double R boys. It's not REV. It ain't
All right.
rev up. It ain't rev up. We ain't doing that.
He got the point there, but I'm gonna exit out
We
because
don't
I'm
know.
gonna keep it right.
It's your first girlfriend, your wife, man. Come on, man. You know how it go.
And is your
you know
wife
how-
your last girlfriend?
Shit. Oh, that's crazy. That is
That
crazy.
was good.
That was
These are the ways of the world. What your pops tell you? You understand when you get older.
Oh,
You understand when you
Got
get
a
older.
point.
Oh shit. That was
These
a
are
Oh, gosh.
jokes.
that was a crazy flip. Yeah.
was
This
a
is all
crazy flip.
entertainment.
These are
This is all
jokes.
entertainment.
Oh, entertainment.
This is all
Allegedly,
Not
entertainment.
yeah.
me.
Ooh.
All right. Okay. Follow-up question. What was the social media feature that really changed the game for you? And then what was the social media update that's like y'all cock blocking, like you hating on the game? Let the game be the
Va-
game. So what's
I'll go for vanish mode on that DM.
how's
Yeah.
It's crazy because I never
Yeah.
used that.
I've never
Ooh,
used
you was asleep, boy. You was
I would
asleep.
always just stand on business.
Oh, so that
You
don't exist no
gotta
more?
get up out of there. You gotta get up out of there.
I'm
Like,
Life
confused.
still exists.
Oh, see, 'cause
no,
I
I'm
ain't never used it, so I don't know.
bruh. You swipe up, all that everything that's said in here. Once you swipe out of here, it's gone Man, get in there and get filthy right quick.
Oh, so it's
Get
kind of like
up outta there.
Snapchat or something? Like, I
Yeah.
think Snapchat used to do that where you
Yeah, get in there and
That
get
boy,
filthy. Get up out of
yeah,
there.
that
Don't
boy
get no
Elon
ideas. Don't
changed
get
the
no
game.
ideas. Don't
Yeah,
get no
you see him.
ideas. Don't do
You
that.
see how the notepad
Don't do
started.
that. He
started
said, "Oh,
started
word.
drawing
How does
some.
it?
He
I
said,
don't
"Word."
know.
Tell
I
me
don't
something,
even
brother.
say it.
Tell
My
me
man
something,
pulled out a
brother.
pen. He said,
I don't know. I don't
he
know nothing
fixed
Don't
his
get no
about
glasses when he
ideas.
said that.
I don't know
Don't,
nothing about
cause listen. I don't want my name coming up in none of them when you get caught. All
I
right.
don't know what you're speaking about. See, now you add a
Hey,
narrative on. I didn't say no. I
yes.
didn't say, oh,
Hey, why my man's glasses straight now
why
when
he
you
just
said
pushed
that?
the
That boy
narrative
fixed his
like
that boy
that?
fixed his
My boy-
I said,
spectacles. He said,
cuz,
wait.
wait, hold
He
on.
said, pardon me?
What you-
Hey, look, that boy,
Neck ass.
Crazy.
Boy.
That's
boy,
crazy that we finna
that
paint
boy
this.
Elon changed the game when he hid them likes.
Ooh.
He did. He did. That's a fact.
He
That's a
hid
fact.
them likes.
And the
Niggas
book,
started-
and they changed the game when they put the bookmarks in the play.
Yeah.
When they put the bookmarks in play, they got
I ain't
active
never
with that.
really used the bookmarks.
Oh, bro, you sleep.
I will
Bro,
say
you
But I
sleep.
know,
I
I
didn't
know when them
really use
likes got
bookmarks
hit.
either.
I ain't gonna say it disappeared, but the circles, yeah, that was
Yeah, they should. Yeah, we got to bring the circles back. The circles got to come back because
I thought
the
they had it on
circles was fire.
Instagram though.
well. See,
Nah,
Twitter
on
was
Oh no,
different.
you're talking about
Yeah.
oh yeah.
When Twitter had the
slick
circle,
dead.
it's
Like,
been dead because Elon
Now
ran it.
because Elon, yeah,
Elon ran it into the grave.
If you don't have Twitter Blue, they're giving you porn as ads,
Yeah,
like just
yeah,
regular ads.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Porn as ads is
It's crazy.
Like,
that
it's
might
kinda
be your
crazy.
algorithm, brother.
No, it's other people tweeting about it too.
Yeah.
And it's like tweet, but see, this is the thing. It's Twitter accounts that are ads. It's like, what the heck?
Mr.
like,
Twitter, Mr. Twitter porn aficionado over here.
That boy said, wait, he said other people are tweeting about it too.
Great one. You got me. I'm
Other
like, why the OnlyFans people
are
coming up with
tweeting
ads here?
about it too.
Oh god.
You good there?
Oh, crying.
That was
Oh,
a good
man.
one. You did that
Oh,
one, man.
man.
That was a good one right there. I ain't gonna forget that one. I ain't gonna forget that one. That was
Other
a good
people are tweeting about it too. It's hilarious to me.
one. I'm like, okay, that's bro. I ain't gonna lie, cause I'm like, bro, is it just me? But other
It's
people,
not just me.
other people like everybody's like, bro, why?
It's not just me. It's
Yeah,
not
I'm like,
just me.
cool. I'm like, cool. I ain't the only one. I mean, this is a real, actual app
Oh,
problem. Cool.
Oh man.
boy.
Ooh, we
Them
got
people caught they caught some bus tire marks across their midsection that they weren't expecting. He
Hey,
pulled everybody.
yo.
The other people
What
are
was
tweeting about
that?
it.
I
Said,
don't.
"Do."
That's
Hey,
like,
don't
what?
yo,
bro? Like,
don't do
he
that
just-
motion. Don't do that. Don't do
he
that.
What
just,
was
like,
that?
Don't do that. That was what was that?
Did I do something?
Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't see. Oh,
Why-
my bad. I don't see y'all nasty, man. Y'all
My
got
man.
us in a Twitter porn situation. All right,
nah,
let's move forward, bro. I don't
Yeah,
even know what I did.
yeah.
that's
Get to
gonna,
the
that boy. Yeah, what was that?
my boy
I don't even know
started.
what I
He
did.
galloped a horse or something? What was that? What you just do?
All right,
He
yo. All right,
galloped
all
a
right.
horse.
Get to the next question. Go to the next question, please.
He
I would make
the-
this a
the
clip, and
other
I'm gonna show you
Please.
what you did. Yeah,
Please.
Whoa, sir.
I said I'm going to make a
Whoa,
clip.
sir.
Don't
Anyway.
turn that into this, Ray. Don't turn that into
Whoa,
Like,
this.
come on,
sir.
bro.
Whoa, sir. The follow-up question to that was, what feature came out that you felt like was cock blocking? Like that was the you
Hold on.
bastards.
Whoa, let me start this first because I just talked about this. When Instagram first started, when they made it, see, I don't think people remember this. The activity feed, it will show you everything. It will show you everything your followers did that
Oh
day.
yeah,
What pictures they liked, who they
That's hot.
followed, what they
Yeah.
commented.
Yeah.
That it was because it was
That got me in
like,
trouble. That
it
got
was
me in trouble
public,
before.
following.
That got me in trouble before.
You go to your
Stand on
likes and
business.
swipe left, man.
Oh no, I
was the
did.
wildest
I did. I'm
thing
like, bro,
ever.
this is my phone.
Yeah, stand on business.
He
What you
was
Stand on
talking
like,
about?
that was the
business.
wildest thing. Like, 'cause that was
Yeah.
what it was a short-lived thing. Like,
I
20
definitely got a screenshot talking about something. I could have swore you said you didn't. Hey, this is my phone.
I
Chill
don't
with all
know
that.
her.
Chill with all that.
That
No,
was
this is my
crazy.
phone. I don't even care. It don't matter if I know. This is my phone.
I don't know her though.
This right here is me. This me. This my.
It's
I pay for this.
Instagram. It's made to like pictures, ain't it?
You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Watch out.
That's like
Yeah, that's a fact. What do you say? Hey,
set it off.
I can't stop a hoe from liking my picture. That's what hoes do. You want me to be mad that they did their job? That's what they do.
Come on,
What
they
you
using
mean?
they using the app as designed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean?
What about y'all two? Ed said he didn't like the activities. What was one that came out and is like stole your bread and butter, stole some of the work?
I don't know when that was blocking for real. I couldn't think of nothing that was really like.
No, the block was on crazy block was on Snapchat where you get sent something, you screenshot that motherfucker and then tell the other person you
Hey,
screenshot
bro.
it.
So I used to jailbreak phones.
Evil.
Niggas used to come to me just for that. Like, hey, bro, can you jailbreak my phone so I can screenshot? Because you could save or download videos and you could pick and choose when to let it be seen. Niggas like, bro, can you jailbreak my phone just so I can have that? That shit was called, what was it called on there? Snapchat plus plus. It was another tweak on that bitch called. I used to, that was the number one thing people would have me jailbreak their phone to do. They're like, bro, I need to save Snapchat videos, bro. Bro, you remember when the whole Snapchat?
Because you know how wicked it was getting on Snapchat, man. It's like, I'm only finna see this for 10 seconds. Nah.
This man was running operations.
Bro, that was the number one thing people wanted. And it was like, hey, because I want to be able to, because what it was, bro, it was so cold. You could pick and choose when you wanted them to see that you read the actual text message, like send the read receipt, screenshot, all that. That's the number one thing folks would run to. Bro, like, bro,
we got plans later is wicked.
And that's the thing, bro. They'd be on there with all because you gotta think Snapchat was the first OnlyFans to a certain degree too. That's why people was on it. They was like, bro, you seen the new Vine baddie? Bro, she on Snapchat giving it up. I just want to. It's like,
Snapchat giving it up crazy. I need to see that. Like,
I need to see that later. It's like
for more than 10 seconds. You heard? Folks was trying to get it. Yeah. Snapchat was really like, they was trying to be wholesome with it. Like, hey, bro, if you gonna do this, keep it in the moment, keep it pushing it. Look at us. Look at us. Nah, I need more. Like, wickedness.
Greed.
Wickedness. Gluttony.
Oh shit.
Man.
All right. Those are my two ask the ladies, ask the men. That's what I have. Basically, ask the ladies to ask the men.
Oh, for sure. Appreciate y'all.
Snapchat plus.
Keep the.
He was running operations, bro.
How much you was charging for that? How much you was charging for that?
Thing, bro, when it came to jailbreaking, bro, because it was this thing. People didn't realize it was easy to do. Like, I had been jailbreaking phones since iPod Touches in 09. Like, I was doing it in high school. I was like, bro, it's so easy. I would just teach one person. I was more excited for niggas when it said, bro, Evs went and taught me how to jailbreak, bro. Like, if y'all went and got bread for it, cool. Like, I ain't charging nobody because it was just easy to do.
So let's be clear. You was giving folks the free pass to the nasty for the free.
Well, this is the thing. Well, when I first started, bro,
that boy was the facilitator.
Hold on, wait. When I first started, it was because it was so Snapchat was when I was in college. What it was that everybody first liked, right? You remember iPhones, iPod Touches, 2010, 2011, brand new. Android out. Everybody liked the pattern lock code. That was the craze, bro. That was why everybody was like, bro, you can put the little pattern lock code on my phone. I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like, bro. And after a while, I was like, bro, I just got to plug the phone into a computer and hit a button. Bro, I'll show you how to do it. Because people would want to, like, bro, I'll pay you 15, 20, 25, 30. It's like, it's something so simple. I feel wrong charging you for it. And I was like, nigga, if you went and said, oh, everyone taught me how to, he didn't taught me how to jailbreak my shit. Like, I was more thankful for that. Like, niggas was saying, running with the name, saying, hey, he put me on how to do it, not just he did it for me.
I got you.
I ain't gonna hold you. We just learned so much about.
Like, I'm a tech guy. That was my thing. But in high school, you gotta realize everybody starts somewhere, and it was like you gonna realize with every special tech person, it's like you was doing something, a gadget, something. You learn me. I learned how to jailbreak shit super early. And it was like
my boy was hacking.
Hood,
you really cookie from Nasty Classified for real. That's
a joke niggas used to make with me. For
real. Yeah, that's
trauma. Don't do that. That's
my fault, gang. My fault, son. My fault, son. Well, all right. What was the black dude from Kim Possible? Cause on the joint,
Ronald.
Yeah, that worked. Do that work? Okay. Or we can do, but the black dude from Danny Phantom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on, son.
At least
Hey,
they
shout out
had
to the
us
black
in tech,
hackers.
man.
Come on, son.
Shout out,
They was
Yeah,
all in tech. You feel me?
yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
shout
you
out
feel
to the
me?
black hackers.
Oh
Even in the
man,
spy or not in the heist movies, they always had that one the black dude.
John
They shout out
Sally,
to
even
the
though he
black
was in
hackers,
prison,
bro.
John Sally,
E-
he was a computer guy,
Yeah,
in Bad
man. Shout out to
Boys.
the black hack. Even in the original, what was it? Die Hard. In the original Die Hard, they had my man's bro.
Man,
You
hey,
know what? That's what it is. You know,
black man in
we
tech.
we
Shout out
got
to
we got the
all
R&R
the
boys,
examples
and
we
we
got.
finally got we got the R&R boys. We finally got something for Ev. He go by Dark Web Ev from now on.
dark
Dark
web
Web Ev,
Ev,
bro. From that's
dark
from now.
web
I will
Dark
not
Ev.
Web Ev,
confirm
bro.
nor deny.
For sure.
Dark Web
We
Ev, bro.
we bypassing Smokey.
Nah.
Nah, we ain't gonna bypass. Not since you said it. We ain't gonna bypass Smokey. Not that you just said it. So Smokie Robinson.
It's just we just cruising into the next topic, bro. Don't worry about it, Rose. We got you.
Yeah.
Just cruising into the next topic.
Smokie Robinson and his wife are being sued for $50 million for sexual assault and other heinous charges by 4 women that used to be housekeepers for them. And they're alleging that these assaults took place between the years of 2007 and 2024. Distinguished panel.
I want Rose to go first.
Yeah, you want to. Yeah, what's up?
Hey, no, I just wanted to know if we was gonna holler at the boy Smoke, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It
I
seemed
saw
like
what's out.
it seemed like every week, man, we got a different older man with some type of issue of not being able to keep their hands to themselves. Like I'm not and granted, I don't know if all these things are true. You know, allegations be allegations, but Smokey, from what I've heard, brother, you know, you telling shorties to come over here where the cameras ain't at and all that. You try to pull folks into corners, and I don't know, Smoke. I don't know. I'm just saying, I seen some of your album covers. I seen some of the names, and it's
Man.
just it ain't looking good, bro. It ain't looking
Gang
good.
banging.
You know what I'm saying? What you meant by that?
Like
You
You
83
know what I
naming
mean?
your album Gasm.
What did you mean by that,
What do you
Smokey?
do?
And I seen it was another one that I had sent in the group. Your joint was called Gasms.
can we
And I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's something wrong with this picture.
can we can we
There's
outline
something wrong
with
there,
the
brother. I see it in your eyes. So
yeah, can we outline the allegations right quick? Like, hey, can we
He's
give
charged
the
with
details?
sexual assault, rape, false, I think false imprisonment as well.
And I think it was 4 different women, correct?
Yeah, it's 4 different women. They was all working for him.
Housekeepers. Yeah,
Yeah.
work for him. Housekeepers maids. I think they said it started from 2007 all the way through last year of 2024. So it's fresh actions. His wife is having these allegations placed on her as well because they're saying that either she participated at times or she knew about it in other times and didn't do anything about it. So she too is facing suit. And I believe what it was for, did they put a
50
number on
million.
it? Was
It's
it
50 million.
50 million? Yeah.
Yeah.
50 million on it. So
Listen,
the
man.
ladies are part of it, still Jane Doe's, which I think it should, I think in this moment it should remain Jane Doe. That's okay. And yeah, man. We
Smokie.
here.
Smokie. I don't even have nothing necessary to say to Smokie. If you did this, you nasty. If you did this, you nasty. You should pay the money. I wish they could have brought you up on criminal charges. I think I will say that though. I will say that in the light of all these cases coming out, you know, survivors acts, all these things. Do y'all think they should lengthen the statute of limitations on some of these crimes?
I will say yes if we want real action to be taken to set a precedence for the future. Yes. That's my reasoning why. If we want real action to be taken in the future to stop this completely, yes, lengthen it so that way you're never getting away with it.
Because because it gets to a point where because like with a lot of these, the reason that they are suits instead or civil suits instead of being criminal suits is because statutes and limitations run out. And a lot of time that gets used in the court of public opinion as a negator for the truth or for this actually being done or whatever. People start demonizing the fact, even though it is the other form of getting a recourse in the American system. It's either you're gonna go to jail or you're gonna have to pay somebody. That's pretty much how it works out. So to alleviate both of those things, as far as somebody still being able to be taken up criminally later on with, and also stopping the stopping the demonization of the suit itself, would you say to lengthen the statute of limitations on some of these crimes? Because like I don't think murder has one at all.
No,
Type shit. Yeah,
it does not.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I just niggas know in the court of public opinion, bro, you're guilty until proven innocent. It's, you know,
Or just
especially
guilty.
if you come out with allegations that somebody has sexually assaulted you, most if not everybody stands with you in the fact that this person did this shit. That's just what I've seen.
I don't know if that's true.
I haven't seen anything recently where niggas is like, maybe he ain't do that shit, man. Maybe he ain't do it.
Cases of statute of limitations. Think about it. Like Bill Cosby, he had way more people saying, "Oh, he ain't do that," because everybody was saying, "Oh, well, this stuff happened in the 80s and 90s." Why? Because the first thing they say is, "Why are you coming forward now?" Which is wrong. That's why I say we probably should lengthen those statute of limitations, because that will set, like, that's why I said to set the future precedence of you have to pay for these crimes at some point. Like, think about it. If you don't statute it, you're getting away with it.
And do you think somebody should be able to come forward, like if something happened in the 80s and then you want to talk about it in the 2010s, do you think somebody should be able to come forward then and try to get something up out of the situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that pain is never taken away.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's if it happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's.
And now that's when we have to go.
I think my point is,
what I'm saying is, if you lengthen the statute of limitations, you can get to figuring out if it happened, because now it can be tried.
How can you figure out something?
Not necessarily. I understand the differences with evidence and kits and all of that. I understand that.
But that speaks to what Rose is saying, because I might be on the sides. Like, I can understand lengthening statutes, but there has to be a limit on the side of, okay, just like what Rose is saying, the court of public opinion is very real. We can't ignore this. So we have seen damning stances on either side. When y'all responded, you're right. Some people were saying R. Kelly didn't do it. A lot of people were saying Bill Cosby didn't do it. A lot of people also stood with Jussie Smollett. A lot of people also stood with, like, there's examples of where even with allegations that have been applied and we've seen it to not be true, that stain still stuck with them. So having a statute or expanding the statute of limitations just to be limitless seems,
I didn't say limitless. I just said
a little bit
extended.
or even extending it, because in the examples, I don't want to always go extreme, but there's certain times where the more just science, at least for most of the sciences, the more that time passes, the harder it is to prove something anyways. No different than the first 48. There's a whole show on that. So if there's a certain amount of time that has passed by, the burden of proof is still on the claimant. But at the same time, if you can't prove your guilt, you can also not prove your innocence. And if you didn't do it, that whole situation only exists because the statute of limitations was expanded, which is why we have the civil side. So me having to deal with what my branding might look like as soon as we get the allegation, we see it now for the NBA, NFL. As soon as the allegations come out, more than likely they're getting cut immediately before they even get to a trial, before they even before it gets dispelled. They give you, you could tell, I don't know what the exact time is, but it shows that there's only a couple days that they might see what happened, see if the charges get dropped immediately. And if it hasn't happened within certain days, we get a new notification that this person is dropped from the team. There's no update.
So what would be and that's even in the civil situation. So what would be the difference?
That's why when he said no to that, I'm like, bro, once somebody comes out and even puts smut on your name, it's kind of like it's kind of just cooked because the court of public opinion, especially when it's dealing with a woman saying that a man did something, you're kind of fried, bro. It's
Because
it just is what it is. You're
I'll
guilty
add
until
one more.
proven innocent, not the other way around.
If you're proven innocent, because I will add, the court of public opinion now it started off being more so celebrities or
It
famous
should
people
be innocent until proven guilty, is what I'm saying. But you're guilty until
yes
proven innocent.
in the court of public opinion. So it used to start the court of public opinion, quote unquote, that little terminology was more so on the celebrities, famous people status. We're at the point now where we see if you pop up in a TikTok, they pulled your workplace environment, your address. They know everything is out there now. So even what used to be an athlete getting cut by their respective team, it's now a company putting out a statement. This person no longer is employed with us. Whether they've been proven innocent or not, it was just that one clip, and that was a decision of it. So to put a criminal statute of limitation extension is already difficult because of what we're seeing, even from the civil side, whether or not you were proven to have done it or you haven't. That court of public opinion is very real. I'm adding to Rose's point.
So you saying you wouldn't want to extend it because of the court of public opinion?
What do we know the generals for the statute of limitations? Like what's the
I
general
want to say
time frame
for
that it usually
the
is for
assault.
sexual
I want to
assault?
say for assault, it's around 10 years or something like that.
Is it 10 years?
I want to
Okay,
say so. Let me double check.
I
I'm
don't know
about to
what
say,
I'm
doesn't
sure
this fall
it
under-
probably switches for different states, obviously.
Doesn't this
But
fall under that same shit with Diddy and Cassie and shit?
it's civilly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, civilly, yes.
Civil. So hold on.
So it's 15 years. It's 15 years from the date of the offense.
for civil.
For
What
no,
about
for criminal. For criminal.
Oh, for
That's
criminal,
for criminal.
okay.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
for
it's
criminal.
crazy.
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
so if we're saying give or take, if 15 is a number, give or take, that's what we're working with criminally. Like
For
how
civil
many more
cases,
years do you want?
for the civil cases, the statute of limitations is 2 years for adult cases until the victim turns 23, and until the victim turns 23 for child cases.
So 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, it's
if
so
they're- if
weird.
they're
It's
giving
a
10
case,
if
it's
they're
a case
giving
by
them give or
case
take-
thing, state by state. It's weird.
Yeah, it's state by
Yeah.
state.
It's
even
very
still,
random.
like if we're working with the general give or take of it being 15 years for the criminal side,
A dub.
how 15 years is a long time.
15 years is a
15 years
long
is a
time, but
long time.
we also know how police don't investigate these types of cases specifically most of the time.
True, but if they're not investigating, then what would extending the statute of limitations do?
Because
At that
if
point,
you
they're still not investigating.
because most of the time why they're not investigating in the first place is usually it's not reported at the time, or like
Right.
it's reported too late, so the kit doesn't get done, or like people, because you can't get the kit done in a certain amount of time, people just don't report at all. Even if you get to a point where it's later in time, people go through or go through whatever they have to do to get to that point. Once you get there, if there's a way, I think it should be able to be done. Like, I don't think if somebody did this to you 15 years ago and it's 15 years in one day, now it's like, oh, but can't say nothing. Or you got to sue
That's
them.
what I'm saying. It's like, okay, including, because when we're trying to talk about the topic of expanding things, we still would have to come to a generality. This, whether it be a vote, this is what the community put the people in place to make that law, whatever the case may be. So coming to, what do you think is general that people are outside the 15 years?
I would say 20.
No, I'm saying, like, do you believe that most of the times these cases or these situations, people don't feel comfortable saying it, usually fall on the outside of the 15 years?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I just
Right,
know.
like,
I
so
know
going
for
with what we typically see, because 15, I guess what I'm trying to put in 15 years, depending on who you're looking at it for the context, would say that's enough time. Even if you didn't try to press those charges immediately, first year, second year, given the time for therapy, whenever that time may be, because that's what we're looking at. You time to share your story, potentially recover, go to therapy. There's 15 years for this.
Mhm.
Do we think most people can't get that done in 15 years? Because I do understand some people, you never got to that point. Some people you might have that, but when we're saying words some, and we're trying to deal with what would be the majority rule, for 15 years, and then you get the 2 years now, because that's where the civil might kick in. Even if you didn't file it, so you got 2 years on the civil side. If you're just seeking damages, you may not be able to prove the criminality of it. The
15
kit
years
wasn't
is
there.
a long time,
You did,
bro.
so because even if you couldn't get the punitive damages, I think for or the money aspect, if that's what you were looking for, the criminal side still stands for 15 years.
Mm.
Like,
Do you think that if, like, let's just say it was one of these things that kicked in where if you're trying to sue somebody for civilly for something that's happened, like let's just say it's past the 15, let's just say it's 17, 18. Do you
Mhm.
believe it should be some shit where if you trying to do that, you should automatically have to pursue criminal charges as well?
In a way, because and this is why I give you the example, right? If we look at somebody like Donald Trump, who got civilly found liable for sexual assault, right? In my mind, granted, you did it. It was, and the only reason you now don't have to deal with a criminal action is because it's outside of those parameters. Like the time frame is outside of those parameters. But you were still found to have done this. So it's like for me, civilly, which would mean you did it.
Not necessarily.
If you have to, if the
Because
case,
that like the OJ case, he wasn't found guilty criminally, but civilly they found him liable for that murder and they sued the shit out of him and he had to pay for that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're guilty of said crime, but civilly you are, which I mean they are two different things. That's what I'll say.
so
It doesn't necessarily
I would
mean
say to
that you
clear
did
up
that crime though.
I would say to clear up that gap, yeah, we would have to figure that out to the best of our ability. I would say
because the main difference is criminally, they're saying it's more emphasis on without a doubt we feel you did this. That's
beyond
why
a
you're
reasonable
being
doubt.
punished for that. Yeah, civilly is saying we feel like you did it.
We feel like
It seems like based
it
on what's
seems
proven,
like
it seems like you did it. It's
I'm with
almost
you,
like
and
it's
I'm
almost
and
like
I'm
the
saying
so
to clear up that gap in the seam and the no, bring the criminal charge as well.
yeah, which could get tricky, and I think some people would maybe not pursue, and that maybe that would be my thing. I feel like some people would not pursue civil charges if you automatically had to pursue criminal charges as well, because it would kind of create a thing to where, okay, let's just say the situation with like Deshaun Watson happened, and then like he's not found guilty at all criminally, but then all these people sued him civilly, and like let's just say it's 10 cases, but only 4 cases he's found guilty. Like, where does that leave us?
If he's found not guilty in the civil, I mean, if he's found
Not
not guilty
guilty
in the
criminally,
criminal, but he is in
but
the civil.
civilly,
he's found
people
guilty.
feel like he did X, Y, and Z.
But is
Are
it
you
people feel like
guilty
he
or are
did X,
you
Y,
not?
Z,
How
or
does
is it
that
the
play in
court
the court of
determined?
public opinion?
I would have to figure out exactly what the terms are for what it means when somebody is found liable or guilty in civil court.
Usually in civil, if I remember correct, it ranges from state to state. Because remember, Johnny Depp's was a civil case. If I remember, him and Amber Heard,
that was a civil
that
case.
had a jury. And then there's other ones where it's more of a bench trial. That's where the separation would be. So you could have a civil bench trial, and that's just the judge. So there hasn't been consistencies.
So
on
it
that.
said in civil
least like
courts,
in all
in civil
situations.
court, finding someone guilty isn't the same as in criminal court. Instead, it's about finding them liable for causing harm or damages to another party. If the party is found liable, they are typically ordered to pay the monetary damages. And criminal court focuses on whether someone committed a crime against society, while civil court focuses on disputes between individuals. So regardless, if I'm understanding this properly, in civil or in criminal, they're figuring out if you broke the law in greater society, and in civil, they're just figuring out if you are actually liable for the harm that this person is saying that you did to them. So for me,
which comes more to the feeling side,
right? But if
And
you're
in
still
civil-
found to be liable for the damages,
But
like,
I'm saying, and in civil, you could see how the court of public opinion, if somebody just coming out and saying something could very much so play a role in you being convicted in civil court and not criminal.
say it again. You got cut out. What'd you say?
I'm saying that the court of public opinion plays a much greater role in the civil aspect
Mhm.
than the criminal aspect. And just because you are found guilty of something civilly doesn't necessarily mean that you did it. You could have just caused some type of damage because somebody feels like you did.
And it's not really that. You got to prove the preponderance of evidence. And I'm looking at this right now. So you have to, and what the preponderance of evidence is that you must show that it's more likely than not that the defendant is responsible for the harm or wrongdoing. Right?
But
That's
not
not
beyond a
necessary.
reasonable doubt.
Right. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. I understand what you're saying. It's not a
It's
criminal.
Phil.
I don't know if that's Phil, because if we take this to a court just because it's between two people, if you still get found liable for doing this, would you not be responsible?
So wait, so the perfect example of this, I would say, ain't the Jonathan Major situation kind of like a direct like in a way, someone could say criminally you didn't abuse her or assault her, but you were liable for her breaking her fingers in the door or whatever trying to get away. Ain't that kind of like it?
I don't know the particulars of his
Like the
case.
liability of breaking the fingers in the door is civil, but you didn't do anything domestically to her in the criminal aspect. I guess that's how
Because
it's
that
looked at.
in that moment he lost his endorsement. So in the situation as it played out, he broke her fingers trying to separate himself from her. So he was still found guilty in civil court, or he was still found guilty. I can't remember his was criminal or civil.
That's why
He was
it's just
found guilty
I'm just thinking an
of
idea of how it sounds.
of causing harm to her, and just before, even before those charges had came down the pipeline, what Rose is saying, because it looks, or it's now to better yet, I think I might try to clean it up a little bit. In today's world, it appears that civil is heavily matching court of public opinion. They're almost going hand in hand. So they're going into these cases with a strong belief. Jonathan Majors was one of those prime examples. It was said he assaulted her. He lost pretty much the entire endorsement deal that he had going on. The public opinion was saying that he did that. Disney didn't like it, pulled him, yanked him. We had already started having a narrative about him that was overwhelming, just to get to the results of it. And it was shown that what was initially believed didn't happen in that context. And even in his specific case, he was found civilly I don't know if it was civil or criminal, but he was found liable of causing harm to her, despite us having the footage and the testaments that the harm that was caused was because he was not doing what she alleged him to do. He was separating himself, but in the eyes of damage, he did technically do something that caused damage. It kind of covers a lot. His case actually does cover a large part of what it is we're trying to talk about.
Yeah, and that's why I was bringing it up, just because I remember in the court of public opinion and everything, it wasn't that he ever, like in the case, I don't think he ever like physically abused her per se,
Or
domestic
the
assault
allegations.
or domestic violence or anything per allegations. But the topic of broken fingers come up, right?
And if
And
I'm
it's
not mistaken,
so you can't dictate it.
if I'm not mistaken, and one of y'all can look this up, I believe from what I heard, and this could be wrong, of when Cassie had finally filed that suit in for that civil, I think it was either civil or criminal, but like it was right there at the end of where you could even file.
Yeah.
So it was like, you see how that looks,
But
like in
that's
terms
not.
of,
I get what you're saying, but it's still, in a sense, and I just verified, public opinion isn't regarded in the court case.
no, public opinion is never regarded in any court case as far as what they'll tell you, but we're still people. If you on a jury trial and you hear about these things, and I mean, you're still a person.
You also still have to acknowledge it, because even before you get to your trial, because of the way public opinion works, you might lose.
Okay.
You might lose your well-being just to be found potentially not guilty.
Okay. So also, let me clean it up with Jonathan Majors too. There were two different lawsuits. The court brought up domestic violence. She sued him civilly for defamation and assault and battery. So that's where my mistaking was. I was conflating the two as like one lawsuit, but it was two separate ones. So that's why, Ray, you were saying it was a good thing. He had two, one criminally for domestic assault, and then she did civilly. Because
was he found liable in the civil suit?
It said
Yes.
that they settled.
They
Remain so,
settled.
so the terms
Okay,
were
so they
remaining
settled it.
confidential.
Okay,
Yeah,
so no, so then he settled it out of
so
court.
I guess, and I guess in those they settled it because you just don't want any more of the slanderous news to be
Yeah,
seen.
and
Right, and that's
if you settle in the court of public opinion, you guilty.
true. That is, I wrote with that. I wrote with that. But I think it's, yeah, but I think that's kind of the point of the fact that since you can't be held criminally responsible at this point, the next best case or the next best way to kind of like, I guess, ruin your freedom. If we, you know what I'm saying? Like if you did something to somebody and the goal is like, okay, I can't hold you criminally liable for this, but I got to get some type of get back, and I just fry your name and take whatever dollar amount that I can get. That's the kind
disconnect.
of the
I got you.
trade-off.
No, I got the
go ahead.
disconnect. And now I could be wrong here, but I know based on what you read and then what I know, at least on the Texas side, specifically, even for if we're using sexual assault, but for most of them, your civil case, the statute of limitations is from the date of loss. Right, so that's where it makes it different. For example,
The
like
day
the
it happened.
Cosbys. Okay, so the way that it goes here, you have 10 years from the date of the accusation to file criminally. You have 5 years from the date of accusation to file civilly. Bills was different because the time frame that they were quoting, it made it difficult. They used that as references, but he wasn't necessarily being sued for that, unless my understanding federal is different. He had most recent charges that was within the time frame, which means he did it also at a later date when he was older. So that's how the civil suit was still able to happen. They weren't civilly suing him for stuff that happened back in the 80s. They just referenced it as a way to prove he has a character or a history or
I
trend,
get what
if
you're
you will.
saying.
Right.
I get what
So
you're
so
saying.
I think to answer your question, because even on the civil side, that's what now going back to Smokie, they were saying he was doing this all the way through 2024. So he's within range of both, depending
for
on
sure.
what time
Yeah,
frame.
this
Like it's 10
this
years
ain't
here,
just
5 years
about
there. So
Smokie, but I think
yeah.
this plays a big role. Even when we talking about the Shannon Sharp shit, and they're talking about why would Shannon be like, oh, I would pay you $10 million, not because I necessarily did it, but because I want this shit to go away. I got other shit going on in my life. ESPN, I got all these sponsors, I got all this good shit going on. Just you trying to put smut on my name with you and me both, especially looking through the text, hearing some of these calls, they seeming like a lineup. I got so much shit going on. I will pay you to just go away because this is a civil case. This is not criminal. But you trying to slander my name so much that you about to tear everything I got down.
That also touches back on the other question. I realized, Nick, you had asked when should there be an extension. I may not be on the side. I'm on the side. I think 15 years max for this particular case.
So no,
That's my answer
so
to
just what it is.
I think
So just
I-
let's just stay generally.
15
right.
is
well,
fine.
I'm only saying 15 because in Texas it's 10, so I wouldn't mind 5 years beyond that because I don't know where you're at in life. But this, even with Shannon's situation, also highlights that other question. I don't know if we answered it. Should you, if you're gonna file civilly, you should also file criminal at the
That's
same
my
time.
thing.
I would say
That's
yeah.
my thing.
I would say
I
yeah.
feel like you should be forced to.
Yeah, I would say yeah. I'm
I think you should
not
be
against that.
forced to.
I'm not against that because I think again to clear up that gap of we feel like you did it or you settled out so it looked like you might have done it or you paid her off early just to get it out the way, to clear up all of that misconception, take that criminal case.
I think,
But you would know a
I think
reason why people wouldn't want to walk into a criminal case if you don't believe that somebody really did something to you and
And
you
I think
just
and
want to
that's
fish
fair.
them for the bag.
That's fair. And I think and
No.
that's a way to expose that as well. Like if it gets to a point where it's like, okay, if you gonna do this, you have to go for the criminal joint.
I'm with that.
And if that
I'm
deters
with
folks from going that route, cool. Because I'm
Well,
only here
you know
looking
what?
for truth. We don't
Honestly,
I think it also clips that. I think it also clips that narrative of the one that gets me sometimes, and it's not even just specifically for sexual assaults. This is any crime. When they go, well, I don't want him to go to jail, but I want him to be punished. Like, nah, you don't get to determine if there was a crime that happened or if there was harm that was caused. You opening the door of, oh, I don't want it to be that bad, also opens that door of, then did he really do what you said he did?
Yeah,
Because if
just
he
be-
did it,
if,
then
if
let
we
it.
gonna if we gonna pull it up, sit them in there. Let's do the line by
Yeah.
line. This was the law. This is the penalty. This is what we do. And
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
let the
Because
state
even
work.
for no matter, I feel like no matter what your belief is, whether you go religious, whether you go by karma, whether you go by legalities, don't say karma is gonna always catch you. Don't say God is watching, and then you go, but nah, it should only be this much. No, like if something happened and you were complaining about it, I believe you handled it appropriately.
Commit to the commit to the
Because
process.
if we are able to keep the respective human aspect of it in the court, out of the court as best as we can, just because we still stand on, just because you're not found guilty legally does not mean you did not do something that caused harm. So you could still, while filing for both, be found not guilty in one and guilty in the other, or vice versa, or just not guilty at all, but keep it clean across the board.
Right.
If you feel like it was bad enough here, then
Clear your name in all aspects, and we ain't gotta have no more of these. You know what I'm saying?
Because there are also situations where the criminal side and the civil side, the laws do not overlap. But if there is a chance that they overlap, then yes, I would expect both.
For sure.
Ev, you were about to say, my bad, I cut you off.
Oh no. One, I was just gonna say Nick's point is actually a great point, because like me, I said extend it because it would help deter in the future. Well, if you make them do both, it also deters on both sides. It's a deterrent on both sides of false allegations, and it's a deterrent on niggas doing it in the future. Because one, your future, your past, you're gonna always, this karma, it can always come back now when you extend it, but also that you can't just get a bag, because now you have to really go and not just put claims.
Yeah.
So yeah,
sure.
but yeah, that's a perfect. I would feel like that's something like when we say working on a smaller scale, how to make things change. That's one, like that's a simple, effective change right there.
Yeah.
Salute to us. Well, my brothers, that's all we got today. Pretty efficient. I
got one more question.
Oh, what's up?
In there. I definitely don't want to end there.
Okay, for sure.
I definitely I don't want to end on that thought process. I thought about this, and then someone had tweeted it, so I'm gonna ask you guys, because I think we all watched the Marvel movies, right? Especially Infinity War.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is where this question goes. Who pissed you off more? Grace and Sinners inviting them in, or Star-Lord in Infinity Wars not just shutting up long enough for them to get the gauntlet off your boy?
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
It's not close. It's close.
Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord was wilding.
He had half the world wiped out.
Yeah, Star-Lord was wilding. Star-Lord was tweaking.
This shit was about everybody, man. You tweak.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do it. You gotta go for the greater good, man. The greater good, man. It's the greater good, bro.
You just too worried about them hoes and won't worry about the greater good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's an easy one.
Yeah, come on, man. That's
you
light.
Get you a new joint, bro. You tweak.
Yeah, that was light. That was easy. Easy work.
Y'all got to start with a quickness, man. That's crazy.
Bro, I still get pissed off about thinking about that back in, like, just like, cuz you really did that.
I watch that shit once a week.
You feel me? Like, bro, TNT played
that
like every
week.
He
got a trauma bond with it.
That's like my comfort film. Like when I'm finna go to bed, bro, I cut that on. Like no bullshit.
Hey, we gonna next pod. We gonna talk about like what's everybody's comfort go to bed show. And just see what type of wickedness y'all be getting into before y'all go to bed.
Yeah, because watching half the world get snapped away as a comfort film
is
kind of
crazy,
bro.
Watching disintegration to end your night.
Half the population getting smoked as a comfort film.
Hey, that might be the same person what's going on in the real world right now. Goddamn,
should give me hype, bro.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, what y'all got up for this week, man? As we get ready to sign off, what's happening in y'all's world?
I ain't got much. I got a week of work, which is as always, editing this and getting this ready to go. I ain't got much. I keep it clean. I'm chilling for the week, to be honest with you. What y'all got up?
I ain't got much for the week, but I want to say congratulate to my girl, my fiance. She graduated with her master's yesterday.
Salute.
So at Master in Public Administration. So going forward to the next week, we got a party tonight. So gonna enjoy that, the families, friends, everybody. So gonna kick back to that. And then, is what Mother's Day weekend. So shout out to all. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, thanks. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
But other than that, man. Oh, and then for me, my mom's birthday is next week too, on the 14th. So got a lot of work.
That boy got a double
Yeah,
whammy.
it's a lot.
Got a
Yeah.
lot.
That boy got hit with it.
It's a lot. So
Woof.
it's kind of like, fuck, bro.
Open your
But
wallet,
yeah.
brother.
Yeah, for real.
But other than that, man, it's another good week of work.
What's your week looking like, Rose?
Shit, man, I got a lot of cleaning up to do from a lot of situations that have happened.
This
in
got
the
to
streets, man.
this got to do with your keep it clean in the top of the show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is, y'all brothers be safe outside, man. It's a lot of evil floating around in the ether. And them folks out there trying to get us, man. They trying to get us. And all I gotta say is, just know if you outside and you playing around and you playing games, I'm gonna match all the games. You be safe outside. You be safe how you be safe. You know what I mean? So
I think that's
I'm gonna
pointer
protect
right
me
there.
and mine, but you be safe how you be safe. And don't, you know what I'm saying? We
can't
keep it
tell.
right there. I
can't
got some
tell if you're
cleaning up to
cleaning it
do
up.
at home. I got some cleaning.
Yeah,
up.
that's what confused me. I can't tell if you cleaning up or making it more dirty, bro. I don't know
Nah,
which
Sound like
one it
man,
is.
it sound like
it's
you
just a
direct
PSA.
bullet.
No, he just, he turned the spray bottle on spray. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, just
Hey,
be
man,
just
yeah,
be safe outside. Just be
He
safe.
shot the bullet and his cleanup is getting the blood off the ground. That's what's happening right now. He let him know, and now he just mopping up.
Yeah, the
the
fixer.
after effects, bro.
The fixer.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? This has been another episode of the Keep It Clean podcast. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you're still rocking with us at this point, episodes dropping every Tuesday. Keep It Clean Sports Show first episode just dropped. We're gonna do those for the moving forward. It's gonna be after every round. So after every round of the playoffs, we're gonna lock in to do a recap and get that show out for y'all. And I'm gonna keep it clean. Keep it clean with y'all. I'm telling you now, we ain't covering no baseball. All right.
That's foul.
All right. Hey, look, if you want to do a baseball joint, if you want to hop on here
It
and
ain't
just
baseball time right now, though. It ain't baseball playoff time. It's
Yeah.
regular season.
Rose,
Okay.
I got you for playoffs.
Playoffs.
Playoff
See,
time, we can rock.
and this is the beauty. And and this is the beauty of the pod.
pod.
Like all of us ain't gonna be there for everything, but if it's something that we need to lock in for y'all for, we definitely will do so. But until next time, man, we appreciate y'all for locking in with
Game
us.
come on in about 30 minutes, so we will have something to talk about.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Ed said he wants us to watch the powerlifting competitions. We're gonna speak on that for the sports segment.
That's crazy.
I won't even
That's
those.
insane.
With them, no.
Everybody go ahead and give your socials, give your Instagrams and all of that, so we can go ahead and close out. I'm gonna start. Oh, go ahead, bro.
I would say it's your boy Ev. Keep it real simple. Ev Rogers on everything. So y'all have a good week.
For sure. Free Market Nico on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to follow the podcast page to stay updated with our clips and content at Keep It Clean Pod on Instagram.
Yeah. If you want to sleep well after you have some keeping it clean moments with me, you can find me at Sleep Bueno. You know what I'm saying? Get your rest.
For sure.
Yo, this Rose, man, Days by Rose on Instagram. If you trying to get into shenanigans and you trying to see some bullshit, man, it's Coast TXX on Twitter. Sometimes I get on there and talk and wild out. So, y'all boys pull up over there.
For sure, man. This has been another episode of Keep It Clean, the podcast, where we keep it a buck, keep it a bean, and keep it clean. Until next time, y'all be safe. We out.
Be safe.